So today we're talking about what's going on in the comic book world and things like that. So, Greg, what's going on in the world currently?
There's the Superman movie coming out in 2 weeks, I think. It's already launched in the States. People are really digging it.
Okay.
Which is Warner Bros.' attempt to hopefully launch a Justice League franchise to rival Marvel's Avengers franchise.
Oh, okay.
They were kind of hinging their bets on whether Man of Steel was going to do well, but they've pushed the button on both the Man of Steel sequel and the forthcoming Justice League thing.
Oh, okay. So, in this new Justice League that's being formed, though, who do you think will make it up?
Batman and Superman, definitely. They'll probably get Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash. Whether they bring in Aquaman and Martian Manhunter or other characters is a good it's an interesting question. But certainly the sort of the big three, and then Green Lantern and Flash.
Okay. So, but they have made a Green Lantern film already.
They have. Whether they'll be ignoring that or bringing it in is an interesting question. But
okay.
That is a question for perhaps a year or two from now.
Okay, so can we look forward to a Wonder Woman film coming out in the future?
They've been trying. They at one point, Joss Whedon, you may have heard of him, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He made that Avengers movie that made some sort of money.
I've heard about it somewhere.
He was behind a Wonder Woman movie for like 3 years, and it just never came to be.
Oh, okay.
And I'm pretty sure last year, when Avengers was making its $85 bajillion, someone at Warner Bros. Was perhaps kicking themselves over maybe letting him not make that movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I think you will see a Wonder Woman movie. She's maybe not as easily mass marketed as, say, Superman or Batman.
Yes.
Not that Wonder Woman's not great, but unfortunately she tends to get grouped in because, hey, she's a woman. You guys know who she is.
Yes.
Which is there's lots of great things about her, but she's less easily boiled down than, say, Superman or Batman.
Yeah, I mean, Superman and Batman, they for them to each draw out their kernel as to what essentially makes them up.
Yeah.
Superman essentially an all-powerful warrior from another planet.
No. Superman, like the best thing about Superman, right?
Yes.
Is this? It's not all his powers. It's not his amazing abilities and his crazy adventures. The thing about Superman is the best possible guy you could possibly hope to be.
Oh, okay.
There's some great Mark Boyd quote that I'm going to completely misquote for you here. I'm sorry.
Fantastic. Go for it.
Which is basically like the great thing about Superman is where other gods ask you to believe in them, Superman's a god that believes in you.
Okay.
Superman's greatest strength is his ability to inspire others, as opposed to he can solve the world's problems for us.
Yes.
But he's much more interested in helping us discover our destinies for ourselves.
Oh, okay. That's quite a unique take on the whole Superman mythology and all that sort of thing.
It's when you look at it that way, it's the best way to look at it. I mean, there's I don't know if you've seen the Man of Steel trailer yet.
No, I haven't actually.
There's a great quote that they've appropriated from a very good Superman story called All-Star Superman, which is sort of Jor-El talking to Superman. I obviously haven't seen the movie, but it's played over the original teaser credit.
Yes.
And it's sort of the quote is it's something along the lines of you will be an inspiration to them, and they will stumble, but someday they'll join you in the sun. I'm not gonna get a little teary every time I hear it. It's an amazing speech. But that's Superman. Batman is maybe more easy. The reason Batman is more popular than Superman these days is because Batman is easier for us to understand as viewers. It's very easy to identify with a guy whose modus operandi is vengeance.
Yes.
We've all had bad days and wanted to go out and dress as a giant rodent and punch people in the face for it.
Exactly.
It's difficult to. It's sometimes difficult to identify with Superman because spending all your time thinking about what's best for everybody else, like trying to do the best thing for other people, is not something that we find as easy to identify with because we're selfish creatures.
And obviously that works across the two comic book universes as well. If you look in the Marvel, there you've got the Punisher, who is technically bent on the same sort of thing as what...
Well, the Punisher was created... I mean, it's interesting that the Punisher has become a thing. Like, the Punisher was originally created to be a this is what superheroes aren't character.
Yes.
The Punisher, basically, the Punisher was created in the 70s. In the 70s, there were a series. I mean, there was one specific series, but there were lots of these sort of vengeance-fueled, ex-military sort of execution novels.
Okay.
Particularly the Mark Bolan, the Executioner series, which was the most popular. Like there were these, I don't know, these like dime novels or whatever. I don't know. They were fairly cheap novels that were all sort of mob violence, vengeance fueled. And the Punisher is literally a version of the Executioner.
Okay.
And it was the writer at the time in Spider-Man, who I think was Jerry Conway, sort of saying, you know, this is what's popular, this is what everyone thinks justice is about, but like,
Yes.
that's not what it's about. Look at Spider-Man, that's what justice is about. You know, it's about not killing, because that's the easy solution.
Yes, yes. And the Punisher simply took it to a whole nother level and sort of to a darker place and to a lot more emotionally driven sort of place.
Well, interestingly, I mean, I think the best Punisher stories are the ones where he has no emotions.
Okay.
Frank is a force of nature. He's not a character. If that makes any sense. Frank also died the day his family did.
Yes.
The Punisher doesn't feel, doesn't care, he just kills.
Okay.
He's got the mission and that's all he's got.
So that is interesting when you juxtapose it against Batman, who's obviously fighting for vengeance, fighting for the right thing because his parents died and therefore he wants to rid Gotham of crime and stuff like that, whereas Superman comes into the picture. And Superman essentially has no attachment to the world when he first arrives here.
Well, I mean, you know, he's a baby when he gets here, so he doesn't. But at the same time, he grows up, middle, working class, middle America. His mom and pa Kent are the only parents he has till he's about 18, and he gets the Fortress of Solitude and stuff.
Yes, yes. The Fortress of Solitude is interesting because it's been featured in so many films right from the beginning. The Fortress of Solitude has a change in its concept and change in its meaning, and what are the changes and stuff that it's gone through?
Oh, well, I mean, like, most basically, like, the biggest change would have been Superman, from 1978, I think, Superman movie, where it was kind of decided that the Fortress of Solitude was made entirely out of crystals.
Yes.
Prior to that, it was a big metal dome in the Antarctic. Superman had a key that was just huge, like something only he could lift. It's just a giant key to open the place. Because it's interesting. It's been many things over many years. Sometimes it's difficult to justify why it exists, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But it's sort of a place. The idea is it's a place where Superman can just go be Superman without having to go save anyone or fight anyone or. But he also has an alien zoo there because he saves dying races and keeps them in a zoo.
Okay.
And he's got a trophy room, as you do apparently.
I know
I have my trophy room, my giant penny and my robot Tyrannosaurus.
How has Superman changed from his first iteration when he first came out to today? I don't know if you've seen his latest costume and stuff in the way that is almost morphed.
I assure you, I
like
can have conversations about that costume.
Okay, so let's discuss that. For the first time, Superman apparently knows how to wear his underwear, which is great.
Okay. Let me break down the red underwear thing, right?
Yeah, please.
Okay, first off, there's a really good reason he has his underwear on the outside.
Okay, what is that reason?
Okay. In 1938, strongmen wore an extra pair of underwear on the outside of their outfits, so that their pants did not tear when they were doing all the heavy lifting. So in 1938, if you were creating the ultimate strongman, you would naturally give him an extra pair, and then you would color them red because that's how you create an exciting and engaging
obviously
costume visually. Which, of course, through the sands of time, as we progress to the 21st century, the meaning has been lost.
Yes, obviously.
But I really feel that, here's a question, right?
Yes.
Why does everyone comment on Superman's shorts that are on the outside, and no one ever asks about Batman's?
Or Wolverine's.
Exactly. Why does no one comment about this? Exactly. Like, Batman has worn his underwear on the outside as much as Superman. No one comments.
Yes, exactly. Well,
it's cool. He's Batman. We'll give it a pass.
I suppose because people are always looking for something to rip off Superman about.
Which is super dumb. Like, I'm not saying you should like Superman. You should. He's great. But I can understand he's not your favorite superhero. There are unfortunately not as many good Superman stories because he's a more difficult character to write. More difficult. I don't know if that's good English.
He is a lot tougher to write for, simply because of his powers and stuff, and simply because if he does want to help, he can just solve the problem instantly. And you've almost got to stop him from doing that in some sort of way.
I find that the most interesting Superman stories are usually the ones where it's not just a matter of like something he can solve with just by punching something really hard.
Yes.
It's
yes.
There are other problems he just can't solve just that easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is supposing where his girlfriend, if you want to call it that, comes into the picture.
Lois Lane. I mean,
Yes.
she did have a book called Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, for like 20 years. So.
Oh, okay. So
they're not dating at the moment though, so that's a whole separate plot point.
okay, because I believe in the original comic book series, Lois Lane actually came after someone else.
No. Basically, Lois Lane has been around as long as Superman has been.
Okay.
She appeared in Action Comics #1, same time as Superman. She's the only Superman cast member who's been around as long as he has.
Oh, okay.
But when Superman became a crazy overnight phenomenon that no one expected to do really well. I mean, people don't know this, but the Superman pitch was rejected about 12 times before.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Superman, like basically Superman came to be due to the fact that basically a guy was putting whoever published DC Comics at the time, I think it was National, I forget.
Yeah.
They were, basically at the time, you did do original comics, but a lot of comic books were repackagings of strips.
Okay. Yes.
Superman was originally designed to be a 4-panel daily strip in newspapers.
Yes. And that's obviously where the whole comic book market started from.
That's exactly where it is. And it started as reprints and then moved into original blue. But basically what happened is they were looking for a bunch of action strips that weren't being used because they wanted to put together a boys' action series called Action Comics. Okay. And they were doing it in those days. It was they did a lot of stuff on the fly, and so they grabbed whatever they could get hold of. And one of the things they got a hold of was Superman. Okay. And they even gave him the cover, which is amusing. I mean, but no one it had been rejected like 12 times. No one had any idea that Superman was going to be what Superman was.
The phenomenon.
Exactly. Yeah. But due to the sort of they started trying to find other marketable tools. So sort of in the first 10 years of Superman, you got introduced to the concept of Superboy, which is the adventures of Superman when he was a boy.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously they started introducing characters. Who was his first girlfriend? That would be Lana Lang. Mm-hmm. So they started introducing a set of characters that he interacted with when he was a kid back in Smallville. Oh, okay. So yes, technically there was a girlfriend before Lois, but that was Lana. But technically she came afterwards. Yeah, I mean Superman is pretty much the first and possibly the best superhero. I think while it's difficult to find good Superman stories, there are still a whole bunch. Okay. I think I'm cautiously optimistic for the upcoming Superman film. Okay. I feel the trailer has portrayed some of the aspects I would like to see in a Superman film, and I think it looks like they're going to get the sort of the core element of hope and sort of compassion that I feel is central to the character. While also doing the sort of more rounded character interaction that people expect from a film. Okay. Those Donner movies are pretty one-note in a lot of ways, as much as you can enjoy them. So I think we're in an interesting period for Superman. There's some very good comics coming out. There's some very bad comics coming out. But that's hard. Yeah, that's always the case. And I'm really interested to see this movie in a mere 2 weeks, I think.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you guys for watching this, and if you'd like to see more, we'll be interviewing Greg again. So please subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys.
Bye.